Pulse of St. Louis. You know, the SSM Health Foundation is delivering much needed resources to healthcare workers through an urgent response fund. And joining us now is Paul Ross. He is president of SSM Health Foundation St. Louis. Paul, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Tell me about your foundation. When did it start and why did it start?
Yeah, a great question. We started 2 years ago, and it started as a consolidation of four foundations that were embedded in four of our hospitals. And so the decision was made to elevate our impact, to garner additional resources, and to have a higher profile, to have a consolidated combined foundation. And that's just over 2 years old now.
So tell me about the kinds of supplies that are being provided to healthcare workers who are on the front lines of COVID-19.
Oh, it is remarkable. It's humbling to see the response from in-kind donations of masks and PPE and food to financial donations, dollars that are going to our urgent response fund. It is remarkable, and we're seeing all kinds of support from corporations to small businesses to individuals who are sending in their support. And we've been able to use those funds in really great ways.
And then tell me, what type of reaction are you getting from healthcare workers who are in dire need of the protection equipment?
Yeah, they are thrilled. We've had some requests for additional help in terms of their supplies, and we've been able to. The community's responded, and the organization has pipelines and has things set up to provide those resources, and they are just thrilled, because you can imagine the stress and the strain of this for them and then for their loved ones at home.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we have heard reports about some of the masks being faulty and not fitting properly. Is there a process in place to make sure that the supplies that are being delivered to healthcare workers are functioning properly and that they are the best that they can possibly have?
Yeah, it's a great question, and certainly outside of my area of expertise. However, I am very confident in our supply chain experts and our equipment experts. They are vetting those very carefully and would not provide them to our caregivers if they weren't up to our standards.
And then tell me about the funds. Tell me more about how you generate funds to support your causes in the community.
Yeah, we talk with a lot of folks in our community who want to make a difference, from companies, corporations, and businesses who want to partner with us and make a difference, to individuals. So we have different areas and ways that we communicate and partner with our benefactors. We have mailings that go out to seek support. We have an online presence, and then we have our individual relationships of folks who have identified themselves and said that they want to support the mission and support the effort.
And of course, everyone is launching an aggressive effort to help fight COVID-19. Why is it so important for you and your organization to be involved in this?
Yeah, well, it began as a health crisis, and so certainly we are right in the middle of that as a healthcare provider and to this community. So it is something that's near and dear to us, and it's something very important. It certainly has other ramifications, like you've seen in the economy and unemployment and those sorts of things. But it is a healthcare crisis that we want to make sure that we are on top of. And also, healthy people is really important to any kind of thriving community. And so that's really important to us, that we provide good health care and that we have healthy people in our community.
And of course, there are reports that the virus could resurge this fall. If that is the case, is your organization prepared to continue to supply resources to healthcare workers?
Absolutely. We have, of course, Dr. Garza is leading the St. Louis area task force, who is with SSM, and we are meeting on a regular basis to discuss what the projections look like and what our supplies look like. So we're taking every measure that we can to ensure that we're able to care for those who come to us, and if we do see that additional surge.
And what are the numbers? How do you actually base your decision in terms of what kinds of supplies are needed, where they'll be distributed? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, well, we have incident command reports on a very regular basis, and so we receive those reports from each of our hospitals that are in the community to let us know what the caseload looks like, as well as we take projections and things from our leaders in the communities and what's happening in the rest of the United States. So that's how we get our information. It's how we know how many patients we're caring for and how many are under investigation. So those come right from our hospitals and right from the front lines.
Well, I know you have a number of success stories. You care to share one or two?
Yeah, we have several. It's really exciting, and it's humbling to see the impact. And I'll be honest, I get the best seat in the house because I get to see the joy and of the gift and the giver, but also I get to see the impact that it makes. We've been able to provide 5,000 sets of what we would call hospital-only scrubs that reduces the risk of contamination or infection, bringing that outside the hospital, so our caregivers can, in essence, just change out of those and leave the hospital to go home to their loved ones with less risk. We've been able to provide over 100 iPads to patients and their families so that they can see and communicate with their loved ones, and it's really helped dramatically, as you can imagine, isolation and that fear, and not even being able to see or talk with loved ones. It could really be difficult to deal with, and so we've been able to provide over 100 iPads for patients and their families to communicate. Really exciting.
That is exciting, and there is no doubt this is a difficult time for patients, and it's also tough for healthcare workers because they are working in conditions that perhaps that they have never been in before. It's stressful, and I've heard some say that it's even depressing. So what do you do to help the healthcare workers to make sure that they keep going and that they feel good about what they're doing, and not fall into a state of depression?
Yeah, absolutely. It's behavioral health and mental health is really a significant challenge for all of us, particularly as you mentioned, our healthcare workers. And we have been able to provide some counseling for our care providers that allows them to really just get some more emotional support for their work and what they're doing. Allows them to kind of get that out and deal with that in a better way. The other thing I'll mention is that today we're going out to deliver 1,000 care packages to our frontline caregivers that'll be have a lot of really good things in it that lets them know that they are cared for and thought of, and those are all provided by this community. So those are some things that we're doing and supporting our frontline caregivers.
And talk a little bit more about that, Paul, because I think sometimes people lose sight of how important that is to give a care package. It may seem like a small thing, but that's really big, when you're out there and you're feeling like you're all alone and you're working all these hours nonstop in such a horrific situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Just that little bit of a boost to know that someone is out there thinking of them and providing them support in just a small way really makes a significant difference. Even if just for a moment it takes their mind off of what they're dealing with, then it makes a difference, and you can really see that and feel that in our frontline caregivers.
It sounds like an incredible program, what you guys are doing. How can our viewers get involved and contribute?
Yeah, so the best way is really through our website, and that's give2ssmhealth.org. And there you'll find all the information about, we've got a lot of updates just on the coronavirus and COVID-19, as well as just how anyone can get involved and support us.
So do you need volunteers? What do you need right now?
Well, the best way is really through financial support. We're able to then translate that quickly into meaningful support for our frontline caregivers and our patients. So that really is the best way at this time.
And then I'm sure you've already been getting donations. Tell me a little bit about the momentum and how that's going.
It's remarkable. We've gotten donations all across the board, from large corporations to small businesses to to individuals and small families who, as you can imagine, everyone is struggling, but they're finding it in their hearts and they're finding it in their power to give as much as they can. And it's just remarkable what we're seeing in terms of the support from the community.
Oh, I'm sure it is. You know, St. Louis is a giving community. It has such a stellar reputation for that, so I am not surprised. My final question, what is your greatest hope moving forward?
Well, my greatest hope is that we can stem this tide, right? That we can provide the resources and support for our patients and our caregivers that can get us through this, and then meet any challenge into the future. And that's what the Urgent Response Fund is all about. It's about meeting any health challenge or crisis that may come our way. Right now, it happens to be this COVID-19.
And I think you're doing a great job, and we appreciate it. Paul, I got to let you go. Paul Ross, president of SSM Health Foundation, St. Louis. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the work you're doing in the community. Coming up on The Pulse, a welcome home celebration. A local doctor who survived COVID-19